Hello viewers, welcome to today's edition of Let's Learn. Today we'll discuss the very first topic, dubbed word classes, which is also referred to as word phrases. So we'll talk about the types of word classes, the types of categories, and then we'll also talk about the types of categories under each category of word classes. So we have two types of word classes. We'll talk about the major and minor word classes. These are the types of word classes, and then we'll talk about the types under each of these two types of word classes. So to take start, word classes, or which is also referred to as parts of speech. So what then is word classes? Word classes can be said as a categories in which words has been placed. So they can be said as a categories in which words has been placed, or it can also be defined as the classifications of words into their forms and functions. So what do you mean by this definition? Now when you say words can be placed into can be classified into forms and functions, we mean that some words has been put into different groups. So we have, let's say, group A and group B. Now group A is different from group B because of certain characteristics, and these characteristics are the results of their forms and functions. So group A performs one function and group B performs another function. So because I want us to understand, let us continue with the types of word classes. We have two main categories or types of word classes. Is that major word classes, types of word classes, so types. So the very first type, we have two types. We have the major word classes, and then the second type is referred to as the minor word class. Or classes. So we'll be taking the major word class. We'll take them one by one. We'll take the major word class first, and then afterwards we'll discuss the minor word class. So let's start with the very first type of word class. That is the major word class or classes. One may ask, what makes a word form part of the major word class and not the minor word class? So, as we already said from the onset, the words has been grouped into these classes because of their forms and their functions, most especially. So we will now look at the characteristics of the major word class. Why words are placed in the major word class? What makes the major word class different from the minor word class? So we'll start with the very first characteristics, which is words in the major word class, they can be infected. So let's put that one down. So they can be infected. When we say words in the major word class can be infected, we don't mean they can be infected by viruses or infections or any other forms of diseases as one may think. When we say they can be infected, we mean certain words, especially affixes, can be added to them to change either the meaning, form, gender, or even the number involved in the word. So, for instance, certain words, when some affixes are added to them, or some attachments are added to them, they change their form. When we say they change their form, they change their nature. They change from being, let's say, a verb to a noun, or from an adjective to an adverb. They change their form. Sometimes too, they change from one tense to another tense. So that is changing their forms. At other times too, they change their meaning. For instance, they change from being in the positive meaning to being in a negative meaning. And at other times too, they change their gender. When we talk about gender, we mean sex. That is a male or a female. So sometimes words get infected by affixes or any other attachment to change their gender. And then lastly, they sometimes change in number. And that is, they change from either singular to plural or even more. So let's get it now. They or words. When we say they, we mean words. So words in major word classes can take attachments, or what we call affixes to change its form, gender, meaning, or even number. Okay, so let's take some examples so that to better our understanding. Examples. We have example A. The boy came here. So example A, the boy came here. In example A, we see boy as a singular noun. Next, example B, the boys came here. Now in this example, the underlined word boys has an attachment attached to it, so it has been infected by an attachment S, which is also a suffix. When the suffix S was attached to the boy, it's changed from a singular noun to be a plural noun. So we have now proven that when affixes or attachments or inflections are added to words found in a major word class, they change in number. So they have increased from a singular person to a plural form, be it 2, 3 or more. The number of boys were not stated. In the second example, we have B, example B. Okay, so B. The man this man stole my pen. In this example, this man over here is a masculine being, a person, a masculine male. In the next example, we have this woman stole my pen. So the difference in the first example and in the second example is that an attachment to WO was added to man to change the gender of the first sentence, the gender of the subject in the first sentence from a masculine form to the feminine form as compared to the second sentence. So the next characteristics we'll talk about is that major word classes, words found in the major word classes form an open class. So they form an open class. An open class. When we say they form an open class, what we mean is new words can be added to them each and every time. So with major word classes, there is no specific number of words found in them because there are new words being added each and every day. So an example can be before the invention of mobile phones. The word mobile phone was not in existence because there was nothing with that name. But as time went on, mobile phones became part of the English words because someone somewhere invented mobile phones. We can have the same example for computer, so we can have examples as, so previously there was no word like mobile phone, or even computers, etc. So not only gadgets, sometimes new names are added. Certain names were not there. Well, I was reading one book and I realized names like Tyler, which is now a name, a surname. It wasn't part of the names given to men, but now Tyler has now become part of the names given to men. So Taylor or Tyler has now been added to the English words because open word major word classes form an open class. They accept new words, which means there are no specific number of words found in major word classes. You can't say there are 10 words found in members of the major word classes. They are up to infinity. The next characteristic we will talk about is that they have semantic content. So they have semantic content. So what we mean by they have semantic content is that the meanings of words found in the major word classes can easily be identified and explained. For instance, when we are asked to explain a table, its meaning can easily be known and it can easily be identified. So words found in the major word classes has their meanings easily identified and easily to explain. So meanings of words found in the major word class can easily be identified and explained. So that would be all with the characteristics of major word classes. The first one we talked about was they can be infected, and when we said infections does not deal with viruses or any other form of infections, but is that when words can take attachment or even affixes to change its form, gender, meaning, or even number. The next characteristics we spoke about was that major word classes form an open class. That is, new words can be added to them, and that we don't have a specific number of members found in the major word class. And then we also have the last characteristics being that they have semantic content. And when we say semantic content, we mean their meanings can easily be identified and explained. So under the major word class category, we have types or examples or categories that form under the major word class. So we will go to the categories of major word class. So there are 4 main categories. We have noun, verb, adjectives, and adverbs. So we'll discuss each of them one after the other to better our understanding. Also, we've come to another exciting episode of Let's Learn. We would urge you to keep on liking and then ask a friend to also subscribe to the channel. Stay safe.